Welcome back to another episode of Business Breakthroughs, where I get the opportunity to interview business owners who are here to share their break-aparts and how they got through to the other side, as well as stories to hopefully help inspire and motivate other business owners to keep pushing through and on. And today I'm really excited because I'm here with my good friend, Crystal Noell, who also was my fractional CFO in my first business that I sold, and she has since sold that business as well. But she is the founder of My CFO, which is a bookkeeping and budget masterclass business. And she's also an author. So welcome, Crystal. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you for inviting me, and I'm so grateful to finally share this space with you.
Yes, me too. Yay.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to open and now operate and grow My CFO.
Well, long story short, 2008 recession hit, and I got laid off 3 times. And so, like most of us who get laid off, we're kind of left floundering on what's next and how do you recover from that? Because 1 layoff is humbling, 3 is absolutely devastating.
Yes.
And it was boom, boom, boom. And I was young, and I was like, well, let's start a business because I didn't
And
want.
by the way, you're still young now.
Oh, thank you.
Let's just be
yes.
real.
Age is just a number.
Younger.
Yes, so I was younger.
I'm like, wait a second.
Younger.
Yeah.
I don't even think the brain had formally, finished binding or whatever that is.
Yes.
So, of course, in a recession, I decided how hard could it actually be to run your own business? And also, I didn't want anybody to be in charge of my financial anything anymore. So launched my first couple of businesses that year. One was T&T, and one of them was custom jewelry. So I kind of wanted to see which direction I wanted to go in the creativity space or in, at that point, that was the fractional CFO and HR and leadership. So kind of all over the place with that first business, is those 2 first businesses. And then since then, I've launched a business every 2 years. I adore the startup space. I think it's so much fun and creative and brilliant working with other people who are starting businesses. I recently sold that business that I worked with you with because it got heavy, it got big, and I felt really boxed in and it wasn't fun anymore. And so one day I just said, it's time, and sold that. So I really love operating in the startup space now. So that's why I launched My CFO 2 years ago. And I'm just...
Gosh, has it been 2 years already?
It's been 2 years.
Gosh.
Isn't that crazy?
Flies, yes.
Yeah. And so now with My CFO, it's just fun. And sometimes it's heavy still because startups, the cash flow ebbs and flows, and it's a little scary.
Yeah.
And then I'll be launching the Bougie Budgeter in a little bit here, which will be the personal finance space. So
yeah,
I'm loving it. So that's the entrepreneur journey for me.
Yes. And your social, so My Only CFO is your handle.
My CFO is my handle.
Excuse
my
me.
_CFO _.
Thank you. Okay, say that one more time for everybody.
My
Instagram.
_CFO _.
Thank you. And you're so transparent in this journey with this new business. So, people who have been following you for those 2 years and following your journey, and you're very open about what's going on, right, behind the scenes, or when cash flow is low, or when you lose a client. So all of these things that happen in business, it's been really cool to see you being so transparent about what's been happening with you as a startup in the startup phase, second year, but you continue to persevere and, this is what's going on and move through and learn from it. Right. So I would ask you, what is your why? Why do you continue to move forward in, when things do happen in business or in life, and make sure that you, from the break apart to the breakthrough, what keeps you going?
Ooh, that's a heavy question. First of all, thank you for that. It is really nice when you put yourself out there and you're vulnerable to have it acknowledged, because that's scary in itself. And I know as business owners, we're all going through it.
Not a lot of people talk about it though.
No, you get with business owners and they're like, no, everyth's great. Everything's wonderful.
Yes.
And you're like, I'm having the crappiest day ever. What do you mean? Like, you've never gone through this? So for me, like, what was your exact wording? The breakthrough to the...
Yeah. So when you are experiencing these, I call them break aparts,
Break aparts.
right?
Okay.
Knowing on the other side, there's that breakthrough, but there's that part in the middle where it's like, man, this is hard. Or if you want to stop, what keeps you going? What keeps Crystal going and moving forward?
What keeps me going? Well, I hate losing. I think that's pretty common with all of us. I hate to be losing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I always love this line in Guardians of the Galaxy. It's my favorite movie. I watch it on repeat, like whenever I'm having a bad day. Well,
Yes.
anytime. I've watched it hundreds of times. But
Yeah.
it's where Chris Pratt stands up and says that line, when I see you, I just see a bunch of losers or whatever that is. And then he pauses. Anyway, so it always cracks me up for that because that's truly what it is, right? Like failing sucks. And even though you learn lessons in those failures, I want to get to that spot.
Yeah.
I want to get through it. So to me, I'm like, well, this is just part of the journey. It's painful. It's probably the hardest thing I've ever gone through. It's emotional. It's scary. I feel crazy sometimes, like I'm the only one in that space. And I want to get out of it.
Yeah.
So in order to get out of it, you have to go through it.
Sure.
So that break apart happens, you figure out some things and you go. To go deep down on the why, I think, you know my history. I was in the foster care system. I got adopted as an older child. I only had four words, or when I was 4, I only had 20 words vocabulary. So I think growing up, the constant learning, meant I was still alive. So I was so curious about that, to keep learning and growing. And you get told early on, you're not going to overcome some of these challenges because of your beginnings. And I took that literally as
Fuel
a challenge.
to the fire.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, yep.
Exactly. And then too, it's a coping mechanism to show up. Like I got the second gift at life, and then third gift at life, a fourth chance at life.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, you've been through some things.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's really what it is. Like I'm still here. And while I'm here, I want to honor that space. And I want to show that others can do it. Like we can do it broken, we can do it hurt, we can do it limping. And then on the other side, you're not going to look the same anymore. You made it. And that is triumphant. Yeah. And that's really my why. I don't want anybody to feel alone when they're rock bottom. So.
Yeah. Well, and one of the things that I personally have learned in working, I've worked with you, right? We've known each other for some time. And when we worked together in my first business and one of your other businesses is, the financial side, right? Like the vulnerability and the hard of money, and the fact that what you're doing now is educating business owners on moving through the discomfort to be more comfortable with finances, with budgeting, with talking about money, with learning how to price yourself and what you're worth, right? It's like the things that I coach my clients on, but then I'm like, okay, here, now she's going to, do the things. I guess for where I'm going with this is, what would you say would be a common misconception in starting a business and related to finances?
A common misconception. For finance, I think that you're going to make $1 million by year 5 is a common misconception for most startups. They think it's so easy.
Overnight success.
Overnight success. Yeah. You watch all these influencers that are sharing, just be a digital marketer and you'll make 10 grand in a month, which I'm thankful they're cracking down on all that stuff and those false claims. But I really, truly think that that's part of it. And then 2, budgeting is the most boring, unsexy, challenging thing you'll ever do, but it'll give you the most rewards. And so I think a lot of people, the misconception is that you have to be smart to budget.
Somebody you have to be good at math,
good at numbers,
yes.
good at math. Yeah. You're at a loss because your parents didn't teach you or you didn't learn it in college, and that's just not the case. Yeah. It is hard for everybody. I mean, I'm in my journey. I'm starting my 8th business. I still have hiccups with budgeting, and I still panic sometimes. So it doesn't get easier. So I would say that's the misconception. You just get used to the pain.
Sure.
So those 2 things I think would be the biggest misconceptions when you're starting a business.
Yeah.
It doesn't get easier. Yeah. And you're not an overnight success.
You heard it here. It takes work, right? Yeah. But it's the right work. And having that budget allows you, what's your saying about budgeting and freedom?
Oh, good.
It's, a budget is your dream in numbers.
Yes, there you go.
Is
Thank
what
you.
Crystal says. Yeah, look, like, okay, yes, let me help you out.
Yes.
But it's so true, right? Where a lot of people, when I work with business and we talk about budgeting, it's just like deer in headlights, right? Or it's like, oh, it's so constricting and I want to be able to do this, that, and the other. And it's like, well, a budget will show you and give you the confidence and the facts of when you can do that or when you can make that higher, or when you do make that higher, what you need to be bringing in to make sure that you're still profitable and things like that. And in your book, The Stop Method, I really appreciate how simple you make it, and the budgeting, but also in preparing the numbers and what it looks like and the steps to go through it, where it's that knowledge, right? So knowledge builds confidence,
Right.
and so that budgeting may not get easier, but you certainly know more than you did the day before, and just continuing to work through that, and also looking at it, right? So you can build a budget, but a tool's only as good as the person who uses it.
Right.
So, yeah.
Looking at it is key. You do it once, not going to do you a whole lot of good if you're not looking at it every single week. And I think what's great is that, what you do as a business coach is very different than what I'm teaching. So I think too, when you ask a misconception, that's part of it. A business coach helps you look at everything and how to do it and keeps your creativity going. All I'm doing is literally looking at the numbers, and they're different. So I think that for businesses that are starting, your 5 ways that Action Coach does takes a lot of the bookkeeping numbers or budgeting numbers that you're doing and helps break it down for business owners in a simple way. So like when I'm thinking about, well, how do I support you as a business coach? I'm really looking like, well, what can you be implementing with your clients right out the gate that's going to help them? So here you're saying, hey, you want to hire someone and you want to do $1 million next year. Where's your budget?
Yep.
What are you paying them? What are the payroll taxes? What is all of this? Because top line's beautiful, that dream.
Yeah.
But then we need the meat and potatoes on how to execute.
Right.
So,
so having somebody, a bookkeeper,
yes.
going through in the numbers, giving you enough information that you can make those decisions and budget, and then even the tools that you provide, the master classes in your book and things like that are tremendous resources. So
thank you.
Yes. So tell everybody, how can people get in touch with you and where can they find you?
So I am an introvert, although it doesn't seem like it on social media. I think social media has really helped that platform where you can just share things in ways that a lot of us feel uncomfortable. So if someone's looking for me, if you're looking for me and you would wanted a sign from the universe, I'm on Instagram. I answer all of my messages. If you go to the website and you send us an email, though, that goes straight to Dina, and she's our executive assistant. She's amazing. She'll get right back to you. If you want some mentorship, I have the Path to Profit weekly budgeting calls where I do my budget in real time, and you get to ask questions about how and the why and then what it might look like for your business. It's $120 a year. So like literally it's me doing my stuff and you just get to be a part of it. And I think that relieves a lot of stress too when it comes to budgeting. So that's really, those are the 2 ways really I would recommend that you get a hold of me.
Awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, like we said, follow on social. You've got great tips and behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah. Instagram is fun.
Yes. Yeah.
Really, really fun. I make tons of memes. That's really how I communicate a lot. It's just memes because we got to laugh at ourselves.
Yes. I giggle every time I see one of them. It's like it's, the truths behind business ownership, the goods and the bads, right? And the ugly. So.
And really, that's most of us just want to laugh. Like we got to laugh instead of cry. And so memes is a great way to get that across.
Or cry and then laugh.
Yeah. Yes. I find the reels that are much more vulnerable do better than posts that are vulnerable. So I stay away from vulnerable posts and just post memes. Makes it easier.
There you go. Another tip for you. All social media tip for it.
Yes.
So great. Well, Crystal, it's so great to talk with you, and thank you so much for sharing more about your story and giving some, inspiration to people who might be going through something and that there is more on the other side if you persevere, and that business is not, there's no failure as long as there's a lesson. So appreciate your time.
Yeah, and I'm grateful for you making the space for me to come and share a little bit. The entrepreneur journey, we're all a little crazy and we're all a little bananas, and that's what makes it fun and unique. So thanks for letting me share some of my quirks here.
Yes, of course. As always.
Thanks, Julie.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we'll look forward to seeing you next time, and make sure that you comment your top BFO or blinding flash of the obvious in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you, and we'll see you next time.